While most of our practice with the recall is going to be with food, and a lot of engagement stuff, we want to make sure that he also understands how to respond to the e-collar. We don't want him, never feeling this again until he goes to get in trouble or he's not listening and then being confused or surprised. So I want you to throw in a session with the e-collar along with your regular recall practice. You don't have to only use it when it's on. So I like to, leave it on the dog for regular periods of time at first so that they're not figuring out that the only time they feel this is when they're wearing the collar, and that if the collar's off, they don't have to listen. So we can have some sessions of practicing our recalls with just food while he's wearing the e-collar so that he's not, making that association that it's dependent on him wearing that collar. He gets to work for food sometimes wearing the collar. Maybe he works for food sometimes not wearing the collar. And then sometimes we'll actually use the collar and also pair it with food while we're practicing. So what you can do is you can have a specific session throughout the day where you're practicing with the e-collar, or you can have them wear it and just throw in, a couple e-collar recalls at the end of your practice session or at the beginning of your practice session, just to make sure he still understands what he's supposed to do when he feels this. Now he works pretty low on the collar, too high, and he tends to kind of get stuck. So I'll stick around at 4 with him. And what I want to do is I want to see that he feels it and that he's responding correctly to it. So I'm going to just hold down on it, on his button. I'm going to keep that pressure down, and I'm going to ask him to come. And when he turns and he starts to come to me, I'm going to release that pressure and tell him good. And when he gets to me, I'm going to reward. If he starts to veer off halfway through, again, I'll do that pressure. Nope, come. Goes back to me, good job, and I'll reward. If he's out in the yard not listening, or he's distracted by something, be a little bit higher, 8, 10. I can say come, he doesn't come with just the verbal. I can say no, tap, a little bit higher, come. And you should realize that now there's going to be some kind of consequence if he doesn't turn and come to you. But again, we want to make sure we're practicing with it enough that he understands how he's supposed to respond when he feels that stimulation. So again, I'm going to hold down, call him. I can add that motion in to show him that I want him to follow me. As soon as he commits and turns to me, I'm going to release this pressure, tell him good, and reward. Winston, come. Good. Good. Come. Good. Yes. Winston, come. Good. Boy. Come. Good. You want to make sure that you practice this out in the yard too, and out on your walks, so that he's used to doing it in all sorts of different situations. One of the ways that we can test what his default response to it is, I like my default response usually to be recalls, is to just hold this pressure down and see what he does. So we can practice that while we're doing this too. Come is always a good default for them to listen to. We can pair this with other commands as well, but generally we're going to be using it for recalls. So I like him to just automatically assume if he feels it without any other, cue from me, he should just come. Find it. Good. Find it. Good. Nope. Nope. Good. I'm still going to add that movement in to help him out if he gets stuck. But this is a worthwhile thing to practice every so often to make sure that he has a good default response to it. Sometimes it gets sloppy if we use it inside. They'll start to default to place or down, which is what he wants to do, which is fine. But because we're mainly going to be using this for recalls, I really want his default response to be to come. Good. Oh, nope. Good. Good. Good boy. There you go. Good. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Yes. Hold on. Hold on.